what's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access. Today, for Best Albums, we're joined by Mitchy Slick. Thank you for coming through, sir.
Bro.
Yes. And Mitchy Slick, he's going to do something a little different. We're going to do his album, Trigeration Station. So why is this one of the best albums ever, Mitchy?
Well, I got more information about how my record was put together than everybody else. And my thing ain't so much about the music, but it's about the story behind it.
Right.
And so when I looked at everybody else's album and how they put it together, I kept coming up with the answer that my record was my favorite album, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And it's just how it was put together, and it came from an original place, and I did it basically on my own. But the game was given to me from Sir Jinx. He didn't know he was giving it to me, but I was living with Sir Jinx at the time. And I was learning how to put together an album on a major level before I even learned how to do it on a minor level.
Right.
So like every song on my first album, I paid like $1,000 to mix every song out of my pocket, you feel me? So it ain't so much about the music, even though I love the music, but it was the story behind how I put it together and how I brought all my homies together for this project, you know what I'm saying? It was the first time in San Diego that, you know, well, not the first time, because J.O. Felony put a record out, but you know, that was a major record with other influences. I'm pretty sure if he had an opportunity to do it all from the hip, it'd have sounded different, you know what I mean? But this was a San Diego record. It involved everybody, had every hood, Crips from neighborhood 40s doing the beat, shout out to Cricket, Crips from 30s doing the beat, shout out to the homie Issa, Damu from Brims, Molly and Vabo from Emerald. It took my whole city and changed my whole city far as hip hop. It might have been 10 rap albums before Trigeration Station came out. And after it came out, that basically opened up the game to my town.
Right. And on this record, I know from other times we have talked that Jay-Z and Little Troy played a pivotal role in this for different songs. So what's the story behind those two?
For all those that don't know and that follow Mitchy Slick and that might not know, is for a street Southern California record. It's like a classic record, you know, known as a classic album in the streets. But I wrote all them songs on me to Hard Knock Life and what is that? Wanna Be a Baller from Lil Troy. I wrote all those songs, not the instrumentals, just listening. I was in a trap in the A at the time in Atlanta, and about a month prior, the feds had just came to my homeboy's house. Shout out to the big homie Scarface. Kicked the door off the hinges and came and snatched us up out the house. And they was actually looking for him. They wasn't really tripping off us. We was little homies. We had, you know, cars and shit at the house, but they took the first version of Trigeration Station. It was all written. This one I was still writing. And they took it, homie. I had like 20 songs wrote and it was just finna start recording. We had just built the studio and the feds came and took all my shit and I had to go rewrite the album over from remembrance, you know what I'm saying? And I did that all in the trap in the A to those two songs. I wrote every song on Trigeration Station to those two songs.
And why those two in particular?
I just love the beats.
Okay.
That's it. I just love the beats and it had nothing to do with nothing else. I just love the beats.
Okay, so then getting into the album itself, like how, like explain, like for instance, like on Young Homies, like how does that fit into one of those two songs?
Young Homies is so important to my neighborhood. It's little homies from my neighborhood that's growing up, learning how to be men and learning how to structure their programs based off of that one song I did on the album.
Right.
And that's one thing that they all tell me now. They say Trigeration Station Part 2, which I'm about to release in a couple months. They say you gotta do Young Homies Part 2. Because Young Homies breaks down the whole understanding and the relationship between young homies and older homies in the culture that we live in Southern California. I hate to always talk about gang shit like that's all I'm on. That's not what all I'm on. But if y'all know how prevalent that shit is in Southern California, they got Bloods and Crips everywhere, but it's not like in Southern California where you know the kids might know what's going on, but like where your grandma know, boy, you got on too much blue, don't wear that out. You know, that's where I grew up, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I hate to talk about this shit all the time, but I don't like to talk about the shooting and the ignorance. I talk about the realities of it. And in that song, it shows the relationship between young homies and older homies. And any hood in Southern California know right now, that's one of the biggest problems right now, is the misunderstanding of one another to the point to where homies in neighborhoods is even killing each other over this not understanding.
Well, that's why I brought that song up, because that's
Right.
one of my favorites, if not my favorite song on
Right.
the album. Because one thing that I've always thought with gangster rap, if people really listen to it, it really explains a lot of stuff. But more importantly, it shows how things operate and why they are the way they are.
Exactly.
And that song, I think, is a great example of that. So when you were writing it and kind of putting it together, like what inspired you and how did that all come to you?
What it was coming a time in my neighborhood where like a lot of cats was hating on the fact that I had such say-so at the time.
Okay.
And so it became kind of like a taboo-ish to even be with Mitch or listen to Mitch for a minute at this 18, 19-year-old when everybody's trying to find their own manhood and their own identity and shit. And so you would hear little things in the neighborhood, like they would call homies that ran with me, oh, you one of the slick boys or shit like that. And so what it did for an era is it made everybody turn their nose up to whatever Mitch was talking about. I mean, not in a terrible way, but I couldn't get my message across because a lot of times as a young homie, I was the one maybe not influencing us to do messed up stuff, but I'd be the one that influenced us to stay safe and don't be so high and don't be slipping. And after that got around, homies stopped listening. And so that's why I started making music in the first place. I was like, okay, they ain't gonna listen to me straight from the hip. So then they might listen in the music. And matter of fact, I wasn't even saying they might. I knew they would listen, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so the messages in those songs are songs directly to my homeboys and directly to my neighborhood and directly to my rivals and directly to some girl I didn't like and directly to my homegirl that had niggas from other neighborhoods coming in our projects. And those songs are all about that stuff, you know what I mean?
And then Connected, of course.
Connected, that's what E40, the story behind that, bro, is like, that's when I first met E40, that's when I learned the game. That's why when the young cats be coming at me talking about Slick, can I get a feature? Can I do whoop-de-whoop? I be showing love. I get down for a couple thousand, you know what I'm saying? 40 knocked me over the head for 10 bands, right off the box, first gate, boom, 10, and I tore it off, you feel me? And I went up there, did the song. 40 showed up with a big ass bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken and some Carlos Rossi. And what he told me is he said, damn, when he heard the song, he was like, damn, young homie, it ain't nothing else for me to rap about. Oh, Connected. Because I touched all the shit. He didn't know, you know, that was my favorite rapper at the time, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now my favorite rapper, me, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, E40, that came together. I shot up there with him, knocked the song down. And then after I did that, I went on a small tour with 40. And that's actually with Faye Shining, and that's why my first linking up of being in with them was because we went to Portland, Tacoma, Seattle, a couple of places up in the, you know, that Northwest or whatever. Man, it was an incredible time, man. Just all the effort that went into making that record. And I did it basically on my own because nobody around me knew what the hell they was doing.
Right.
It came from me just sitting with Sir Jinx for a couple years. He didn't help me either. He didn't get, you know, Sir Jinx go hard. He didn't know, but even though we didn't put out none of the music that we recorded for 4 years with Jinx, it had to be Cube or, you know what I'm saying, better. Even though we didn't put none of it out, I slid off with the game and made Trigeration Station.
Yeah, because I think it's important, since we are talking about Sir Jinx, that people understand how important Sir Jinx is into the West Coast hip hop history, because, you know, we got the N.W.A. stamp, you got the Ice Cube stamp, you got the Exhibit stamp. He's been involved producing, working with, orchestrating, laying out so much of really what happened on the West, man. It's amazing. It's amazing.
The way I look at it like I went to the college. That's the reason why I really don't understand none of the big dogs from the West Coast not fucking with Mitch. I mean, I went through the ropes, homie. Like, I went through all the ropes. I sat down with Jinx and got thoroughly smashed for 5 years about everything that had to do with gangster rap, from the beginning to the end. Sir Jinx was there from the beginning. Sir Jinx was on the scene and was one of the names in the circle of these cats when they was children, you know what I mean? Dre came and got Cube from Sir Jinx and Cube's group, you feel me? Dre is Dre and Jinx moms are sisters, you feel me? So I was with Jinx getting all the bars, getting all the yo-yo bars, getting all the Dale, the Homo sapien,
Dale the funky Homo sapien,
you know, secretly for yo-yo and all, you know what I'm saying? I heard the demos. I sat there and watched Jinx talk about this box, this Moog box that he learned how to tune up, and now Battle Cat and Quick and everybody used this box, and it came from Jinx. You know, if anybody know Jinx, Jinx is a scientist with this shit, you know what I mean?
He's a genius.
He's a genius with it, you know what I'm saying? And Jinx taught me a lot, from production, even learning how to make beats. I would make little beats and bring them to Jinx, and he'd put the whoop on them, and we'd make, you know what I'm saying, songs. I learned everything from Jinx in the beginning. But aside from me, I even saw an interview where Q was giving it up and said, yeah, I used to rap off beat and I was kind of whatever, but Sir Jinx got me on deck and showed me how to get, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so man,
C.I.A.
shout out to Big Bro.
Shout
out to Big Bro, man, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then bringing it back full circle with the Trigeration Station. So how and why did you come up with that title and then the song? Because that video, and also played into the video too, because that was a very memorable video.
Well, the title is, you know, in San Diego, we use a lot of our own lingo and come up with a lot of our own words, you know what I'm saying? And for those that don't know, like Triv, yeah, that. Shout out to Kendrick, shout out to YG, all the homies showing the love for, you know, I don't look at it like the Bay was tripping for a while off of Snoop and certain words he was saying. I look at it as love, you know what I'm saying? That's a connection. They're my brothers, you know what I'm saying? We all brothers. We all come from the same cloth. So for them to, you know what I'm saying, to associate themselves with these words and the, you know, the connection makes me know that it's all love, you know what I'm saying? So I don't got no problem with it. But San Diego, we got our own vocabulary with a lot of shit. And trigeration was just one of our words. Trigeration meaning trickery. It comes from the word trickery. So trickery, trigeration, and then station. This is where the trigeration happens, Trigeration Station. Right. Basically, Southeast San Diego is Trigeration Station.
There it is. And then what about the video? Because one way to put it is very colorful.
It's colorful, it's homies, and me, and it's raw, bro. At the time, I was in the Jacks every day, hustling, banging, doing whatever it was, and all we did was bring the cameras there. And me and my boy Janky, rest in peace, Jermaine Simon, man, you know, he's gone now, but the homie was a dope genius with this movement, you know what I'm saying, in San Diego. He was making moves and connecting San Diego with the real rap scene, you know what I'm saying, back 2000, 99. And the homie directed the video, and it just came out how it is. We didn't, was it great, was it not great? But if you look at it, you'll see it's hella authentic. It's all the locations, all the homies. Trigeration Station, man, that's just like home for me. That when I think of Trigeration Station, I just think home.
And then one of the things I also think about when I think about the album is that you had some songs that were more than 7 minutes long.
Right.
It was a long album. So for a debut artist to have it come out and the songs be so long, the album be so long, what was the thought process behind that?
I wasn't even a rapper at the time. I had stuff I wanted to get across, and I wanted to introduce myself as this. And the thing is a lot of at the time, it was about who is the most gangster, who's the realest.
Right.
Now, all that shit I did to prove that back then, it hurts me now. It kills me now because everything is so watered down now. I've been in the game, homie, since like 2001. So a lot of shit that was cool then, just think I was it was a competition of who could get shot the most and shit, because it was 50 Cent, you feel me? Right. I was like, 50 Cent cracking? Oh yeah, I'm on. I did all that. Master P, they selling dope and doing that? And oh yeah, I'm on. I'm next up for sure. But now, try to throw a show and they get to looking that shit up and they Google you and the first shit come up is that shit. It's bad. But you know, for everybody want to book Slick and think Slick is a maniac, just know, man, you know, I do a lot of other things and just be on the block, you know what I'm saying? I actually been to university, you know what I'm saying? Me and Gladys Knight got songs. So if you see me with Lil Wayne talking about what's up, blood, and all this shit with Menace, also know me and Auntie Gladys got real memorable classics as well, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, hit me up, Mitchy Slick, wrong kind, all the time. Yeah, that, book me, I'm down, I get there, I don't need a lot, you know what I mean? I don't smoke and them other drugs, just a fat sack of weed, I pull up, yeah, that.
So now, looking back, what makes Trigeration Station a best album?
Well, to me, it's because it's still from that era, you know what I'm saying? When it wasn't no labels involved, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't nobody telling me I gotta rap about this or I rap about that or whatever. It's straight from the heart. The rhymes as real as they could ever be. Ain't nobody that saying this shit or talking this shit that's free or out or alive. Everybody that could say the shit I said on Trigeration Station, they either dead, can't say it that well, or they in jail or something like that. It's a hip hop gangster album, you know what I mean?
Right.
my homies, San Diego, we wasn't worried about what nobody else was thinking. Wasn't trying to fit no trends, no wave, none of that. You know what I'm saying? It's straight original album, straight from the heart, and it's talking about everything that I know and that, of course, I gravitate to because it's stuff that I'm familiar with. You know what I mean? It's a complete representation of a city, untapped city, that if you want to know about San Diego, all you gotta do is hear that record and you're gonna hear it all.
Well, there it is, y'all. Thanks for coming through today, Mitchy Slick.
Thank you, bro.
Trigeration Station, make sure you pick it up, check it out, listen to it if you haven't studied the game. Best albums, I'm Soren Baker, Mitchy Slick, Trigeration Station.
Yeah, that.